Hi everyone, my name is Noura Alisa, and I am presenting from Casablanca, Morocco. My project is called Beyond the Classroom and essentially explores how academic pressure influences anxiety, depression, and physical health of students. It couldn't have been done without my amazing mentor, Elizabeth Selden. Now, I want to start with something personal, specifically the reason why I chose to do this project. Like many students, I have felt the sinking weight of academic pressure, whether defined by the late night studying or the racing thoughts of upcoming exams, or even the fear that I will fail academically. That being said, upon discussion with my peers, I have realized that I am not alone, and this is affecting us way more than inside of school. It's instead affecting us also mentally and physically. That made me wonder, what does this academic pressure actually do to us mentally and physically? That question became the heart of my project. My thesis is that academic pressure is a major driver of anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems. And the best way to understand this is through the biopsychosocial model, which we'll touch on later. Now, before diving into the research, let me quickly define what I mean by certain terms, starting off with academic pressure. Now, academic pressure is that stress from high expectations, sometimes put on by ourselves or by our parents, or teachers, or even society. According to the World Health Organization, 63% of 15-year-old girls and 43% of 15-year-old boys from 44 countries report feeling some sort of academic pressure. Now for depression versus anxiety. Anxiety is a state of excessive worry or fear that interferes with daily life, versus depression, which is a mood disorder marked by persistent sadness and loss of interest in daily activities. Now, these terms are realities in many students' lives every single day. To study this, I used George Engel's biopsychosocial model, which shows three forces combined. First up, biological forces. So this includes disabilities, immune response, and neurochemistry. It's the red part you can see up here. Up next is psychological factors, which include beliefs, coping skills, and self-esteem, which is the green part over here. And then social factors or environmental factors, which include but are not limited to family circumstances, poverty, and education. It's the yellow part over here. When these overlap, academic pressure can turn into mental illness. Now, it's very important for these to overlap. For example, biological vulnerabilities can worsen psychological stress, which is amplified or eased by social support. Now, how exactly did I do this research? What methods did I use? I conducted a multi-study analysis, which basically means I reviewed more than 10, peer-reviewed studies that looked at how academic pressure impacts students' mental and physical health across different countries and age groups. The key terms I used are academic pressure, mental and physical health, anxiety disorder, and depression disorder. Now let's move on to findings. Let's start with mental health findings. So, academic stress is consistently linked to higher anxiety and depression. One study in the 2020 Pakistan Journal of Medical Sciences by Sabah Asif and others found that nearly 46.8% of Pakistani university students reported severe anxiety and almost 36% reported moderate depression. This shows how pressure doesn't just cause temporary worry, but it directly contributes to clinical symptoms. Now, the more pressure students face, the more intense their symptoms become, revealing a clear closed-dose response effect. Lastly, stress fosters isolation, unhealthy competition, and lowers support from peers and family. This means that academic pressure doesn't just hurt individuals, but it also erodes the social networks that usually protect mental health. Let's move on to physical health findings. Now, I found that stress leads to shorter sleep and worse sleep quality. In turn, poor sleep is proven to worsen both anxiety and depression, creating a cycle. There's also chronic academic stress, which weakens the immune system. This explains why many stressed students experience more frequent colds, headaches, and fatigue. And lastly, a thing that I found really interesting was a study a 2025 study in Scientific Reports by Jian Wang and others, which linked academic burden to adolescent scoliosis. The fact that that pressure can literally shape the body illustrates just how deep these effects can go. So now let's move on to the conclusion. Stepping back, what does this all mean? Academic pressure is not just about grades or tests. It's a driver of anxiety, depression, and physical health problems. For me, this project confirmed something that I've always felt. Academic success should not come at the cost of student well-being. It also highlighted the need for preventative measures to be put into practice, whether this is student stress management programs or something else. These are some of my sources. My paper has the full source list that I have used. And thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.